Maldives is not as it is being shown as a tourist place. The place has been highly radicalized. Anti-India sentiment has been cultivated by the Islamist organization. People of Maldives have chosen this government. If the consequences have to be faced, the people of Maldives will realize it. Eventually, they have to face. If they have not learned what has happened in Sri Lanka or Pakistan, the choice is theirs. So far as India is concerned, like we have always had the options. For China to build up a major military base, it's not so easy because of logistical challenges. And I'm sure India's government, the Ministry of Defense and the armed forces are equipped enough to counter those things. Maldives is a very small player. They should have stayed away. Muizzu has completely, jeopardized the future of Maldives at the altar of its own political prospect. And I would not be surprised if in the next few months he faces severe backlash so far as people from Maldives are concerned. Abhishek, back to you.
Pathikrit, my question is, since you say that Maldives has got radicalized, etc. My question is, Mr. Sachdeva, that for the last 5 years, there was a very India-friendly government there, led by President Ibrahim Soli, and we were closely working. So how come this sudden spurt in anti-India sentiment? It seems there is an element of conspiracy, there is an element of some planning that has gone into it.
Sure. I see two big picture trends why this is happening. One, if we look back over the last 30 years in India's periphery, governments in Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, forget Myanmar, Maldives, we have had governments who have been in power pro or anti-India. That government loses elections. The next government which comes is either pro or anti-India. This is the pattern. One. And why that pattern? Secondly, is that there is a reality. We are the giant in this region. And this region, when you're a smaller nation, you will have anger. You will think that, the big brother, let's say, phenomena, the big brother is dominating you, etc. So, or if whatever. So what happens when a government is in power in Sri Lanka, in Nepal, in Maldives, etc., the opposition has the opportunity to kind of, challenge them and say that, you're being a pawn to India. It's good brownie points for elections. That's what's happening. It's a trend going on.
Okay.
And it will go on. It will always. We are the largest player in this region. And so domestic politics of our smaller neighbors will be influenced.
Sorry to be interrupting you, Mr. Sachdeva. Let's not harp on this we are big thing, because after all, it's a sovereign country. But Pathikrit, the fact that already there are winds of change, there are reports that the elections to the Malé mayor have given the post to the opposition party, now the Democrat Party, which was in power till 2 months back. So obviously people in Maldives are already realizing the price they might end up paying for electing Muizzu.
Absolutely.
It's not that Muizzu is going to get away with it, right?
Abhishek, number one, you are absolutely right. Let me tell you, cultivation of anti-India sentiment by radical Islamist organization is a given in Malé. But there is something more than just radicalization and, polarizing a country against your neighbor. When economic reality hits you, and they know that given the pace at which the Modi government has the capacity to build up infrastructure in luxury, they know what's going to come and how it's going to hit it. For Chinese to come and sit over there in Maldives is not going to be easy. So you would see, it's a reality that it's an internal affair of Maldives, but it's such a small country. There would be backlash within the economy. There would be backlash. Now, when the backlash happens, I don't know whether Muizzu will be able to handle it, because I don't think the Chinese are going to give it for free to them. And if at all the Chinese are giving some concession, what the Chinese generally take in return is enormous. Maldives is already in a kind of a debt trap because of the free trade agreement that Maldives has with China, has been forced to sign. It is in a, if you go to Maldives today,
Okay.
that place is overwhelmed with Chinese products. So I'm telling you, eventually the people of Maldives would have very little option but to question and rebel, and perhaps electorally, not otherwise, because Muizzu is, as I stated, jeopardizing the future of this country and its economy at the altar of its own political prospect. Look, rhetoric works, but not beyond the point if the economic implications are not balanced and checked in place.
Pathikrit, we are getting a breaking news development. It's an MEA statement, in fact, on the same thing. I'll come to you, Mr. Sachdeva. Let's just get this breaking news development, which is connected with the story we are discussing. And the MEA statement says that the first meeting of the India-Maldives high-level core group was held in Malé today. And during the meeting, both sides held discussions on wide-ranging issues related to bilateral cooperation towards identifying steps to enhance the partnership, including expediting the implementation of the ongoing development cooperation projects. Both sides also held discussions on finding mutually workable solution to enable continued operation of Indian aviation platforms that provide humanitarian and medvac services, which is medical evacuation services, to the people of Maldives. So obviously discussion has taken place as to how to continue the humanitarian assistance that India provides, minus the military personnel. I think Mohamed Muizzu is doing somebody's bidding. We know whose bidding he is doing. He has just been back from Beijing. And Mr. Sachdeva, coming back to you, Maldives continues to escalate, but India continues to play a very responsible regional partner. I would still not say we are big, we are a large country, they are a small country. Let's not use that language. After all, they are a sovereign nation. But we are being very responsible. We are being partners in development, and we are behaving with utmost dignity despite all the provocations. Is it not a good takeaway from this crisis of last 2 months?
Great point and great word you use, Abhishek, dignity. And that's the core and key. Absolutely, yes. But what I'm trying to understand myself, I'm reducing. When I'm saying, I'm talking about a complex. I mean, in psychology and international affairs, overall, it's idea. Big country with small. But what I'll say is, again, realistic to the extent, Muizzu is in power for the next 5 years. We may think or imagine that he will not do this or do this. He will face an economic backlash. 5 years in today's day is like dog years. It's very long. Who knows in 5 years what will happen? He may lose local elections, but as long as he is in the seat, and if he's driving, then he's driving. So for us, to my mind, we got to think the next 5 years. Okay, Maldivian economy may tank. GDP gone down, tourism gone down, etc. He is looking at his, if I were, or in his, he's looking at his election ability by stoking or stroking domestic sentiments.
Okay.
So Muizzu for the next 5 years is in power. Let's think that. If he's in power for the next 5 years, what can he do? What can the government of Maldives can do?
If
it can sign agreements. We may say that they will realize a huge cost after 10 years. Who cares? In the next 5 years, he could take decisions which have long-term
Sachdeva, the kind of changes that are taking place on the ground, from a no-confidence motion being planned against President Mohamed Muizzu to the Malé mayor election, throwing up opposition party leader just 2 months after Muizzu was elected. And remember, Muizzu himself has been mayor of Malé for 7 long years. I think we are seeing some changes taking place in Maldives. Of course, keeping a close watch. This is an emerging situation. Thank you so much, Mr. Sachdeva and Pathikrit Pine, for joining us. On that note, we slip into a short break. On the other side, I come back with some reports on the Ram Temple and seat share tussle, which is becoming a flashpoint between the Samajwadi Party, which is merged with the Congress in Uttar Pradesh. Also, no end to Ram Temple politics. Akhilesh Yadav now says he won't attend the inauguration but would go later.